From the Tennessee Valley Weather Channel, this is Wake Up Weather.
Happy Wednesday. We have made it to the middle of the week somehow, some way through all of this heat. Unfortunately, it's only going to get more intense from here. I'm Kelly Rawson here live at 6 a.m. here in the Tennessee Valley Weather Center. Thank you so much for waking up early and joining for this weather update. We have intense heat to talk about for the rest of the week. So if you are joining me this morning, I want to hear from you. So get your keyboards out in the comment section. I want to know your favorite way to beat the heat, because we are going to need all of the ideas, not only for today, not only for tomorrow, but even into the weekend as heat is going to get more intense. So what is your favorite way to beat the heat, whether it's a water game outside, whether it's a nice cold treat? I know your caffeine is cold this morning because we are already off to a warm start. So let me know your favorite way to beat the heat in the comments, but let's go ahead and get started with this weather update, because I will let you know how hot we are going to get for today, what we are looking for in terms of rain and storm chances, and how hot we are going to get this weekend. Like I said, it's only going to get worse from here. So if you are not a fan of the heat, unfortunately, you are going to want to stay inside, if not only for the rest of the week, but for the weekend as well. But we are looking at a heat advisory area wide. So if you are in our coverage area, one of our 16 counties that we cover, you are under a heat advisory for today, this afternoon, mainly between about lunch and dinner time. So keep that in mind, as the main peak heating of the day is going to be quite intense once again. So again, a heat advisory in effect for today, and we will likely see at least a heat advisory through the end of the week, through the weekend, and maybe even into next week as well. So something to keep in mind. Unfortunately, the heat does not look like it's going anywhere, and it's already quite intense this morning. We are in the mid 70s, but check it out, Savannah, Hardin County. I don't know what's going on with you folks, but you guys are already close to 80 degrees this morning. Again, that is just a sign of what's to come this afternoon. We are going to be hot. We are going to be humid. It is going to be steamy outside. We're looking at a mostly clear sky over in Lawrenceburg here on our Arctic Air Heating and Air Conditioning Skycam network. A dew point of 73 degrees. So that is some soupy air outside, a term we like to coin, the air you can wear. That is certainly the case this morning, and it will be for the next several, unfortunately. So an okay start to the day in terms of visibility. No issues with that on your morning commute. So hey, that's a little bit of good news this morning. We will take any good news that we can get. No fog on your morning commute. Just be sure to pack the water, the extra hydration, even a cold rag if you have to be outdoors today. Again, the heat going to be intense. Your bus stop forecast for today, again this morning, temperatures are in the mid 70s. We are dry for now with a mixture of sunshine and clouds, as that sun is starting to peak up this morning. This afternoon, going to be hot. You may want to send the kiddos off with the rain gear. Not a great chance of rain for today, but pop-up showers and storms are possible this afternoon. Don't want them to get caught off guard without any rain gear. But again, I think a lot of us are going to end up staying dry this afternoon. But the chance is there with some heavy rainfall and frequent lightning with any thunderstorm that develops. Again, just typical of a summertime afternoon. Temperatures in the lower 90s, if not the mid 90s for some folks out there. Here's a look at hour by hour of what you can expect with air temperatures versus that feels like temperature. Adding in the heaviness, the mugginess, the soupiness of the air. So we have the air temperatures here in red. You guys are going to be a pro at this graphic by the end of this week. We're looking at lower 90s for the afternoon, again, mainly between the hours of 12 p.m. and 8 p.m. is when the heat is going to be most intense. And then those feels like temperatures, heat index values pushing 105 to maybe even a little bit warmer than that. So again, heat going to be intense for today, and it's only going to get worse from here. But at least we're dry this morning, just a few clouds moving in and out. We are going to be maybe not quite as warm as what Futurecast is showing, but I'm thinking lower to mid 90s, a pretty good bet for this afternoon. And then here you see just how sporadic those pop-up showers and storms will be. Again, if any storm does develop, we could see heavy rainfall and frequent lightning, so something to keep in mind, but we shouldn't see too too many of those. We have about a 30% chance of rain for this afternoon, continuing into this evening. I do think any sort of thunder shower or thunderstorms that do develop could linger beyond 7 or 8 o'clock, but after about 8 o'clock should be calling it wraps, and then we should be dry for the overnight with a few clouds around. Temperatures starting off in the mid 70s for your Thursday morning once again. And guess what? It's a rinse and repeat forecast. Another day of intense heat and humidity, a few afternoon pop-up thunder showers. Temperatures, though, still in those low to mid 90s, going to be very hot for the next several days, and even more so into the weekend. We have an upper level ridge of high pressure that is going to be to our west, meandering eastward to fixate itself over us here in the Tennessee Valley. That clears out most of the cloud cover, in fact, in addition with most of the rain chances. So for the end of the week and into the weekend, we are looking dry, and because we are going to be dry, that sun is going to be beating down on us. We are going to see temperatures in the mid to upper 90s, maybe even some 100-degree readings on the thermometers by Saturday and Sunday afternoon. So air temperatures in the upper 90s this weekend. Heat index values pushing 110 degrees. Again, we are going to be dry. So the funny thing is we've had a rainy weekend for the last several weekends. And so we've been telling you to maybe move those plans indoors. We're going to be dry this weekend. So it's not the rain that's going to be keeping you indoors. It's going to be the intense heat. So another suggestion to stay indoors this weekend, not because of the rain chances though, but because of the heat. You can see here it's only going to continue to get more intense. We're talking mid to upper 90s. Again, maybe a few 100-degree readings by Saturday, Sunday, Monday. Heat index values 105 to 110 degrees by this weekend. For today, about 103 to 108 degrees. So again, very warm, very humid, not going anywhere even into the weekend, unfortunately. So here's a look at your hour-by-hour forecast for the rest of today. Again, isolated to widely scattered thunderstorms, mainly between 12 p.m. and 6 p.m. A few thunder showers may linger beyond 6 p.m. but should be wrapping up by 8 p.m. Again, air temperatures for today in those lower 90s, heat index values into the triple digits. So stay hydrated, stay in the air conditioning if you can at all possible. Here's a look at that 7-day forecast. Isolated thunderstorm chances for today, for tomorrow as well. Again, not an overly abundant significant rain chance, but any thunderstorms that do develop could have some heavy rainfall and frequent lightning both today and tomorrow. But then we dry up and crank up the heat Friday and beyond. We are going to be dry. I almost said nice and dry. It's not going to be nice because we are going to be so hot. But air temperatures in the upper 90s, maybe even a few 100-degree readings with heat index values again pushing 110 degrees for the weekend. Dry for the weekend, a few isolated thunder showers return to the forecast by Monday, but honestly not looking like any sort of great or significant rain chances over the next several days. What is going to be the most impactful by far is this intense heat. So again, very hot and humid for today. A heat advisory in effect. We will likely see a heat advisory in effect for potentially the next 7 days. So buckle in if you don't like this heat. Again, stay in the air conditioning. Be sure to check on your neighbors and loved ones, especially those in the vulnerable population. The heat's only going to get more intense from here. So again, just keep that in mind. It's nothing we haven't seen before, but certainly some of the hottest air of the summer for us here in the Tennessee Valley. So that's a check at your local weather forecast on this Wednesday. I hope you have a wonderful day. Stay cool out there. Again, remember, beat the heat any way that you can.
You're watching the Tennessee Valley Weather Channel.